Good afternoon and many thanks for joining us, and welcome to CoreTV News at 4 with me, Emmanuel Ezekiel. Nigerian troops have forced out Boko Haram insurgents from their last stronghold in Yobe State. Defense headquarters said through its Twitter feeder that soldiers reclaimed Goniri in Monday morning. The latest breakthrough came few days after the military flashed out insurgents from Adamawa State. In the meantime, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Atahiru Jega, says the fire that gutted the commission's warehouse at the weekend will not affect the March 28th and April 11th elections. Speaking during a town hall meeting, Jega disclosed that the materials that were affected were those of 2011 and had nothing in connection with the 2015 elections. He maintained that the fire was as a result of a spark from the distribution panel when power was restored to the area. The INEC chairman assured Nigerians that election materials are intact and will be deployed at the appropriate time for the elections. Moving on now, the People's Democratic Party Presidential Campaign Organization has dismissed claims by the All Progressives Congress that the Jonathan administration is ignoring ethnic militias, sponsoring ethnic militia rather, to disrupt the March 28th and April 11th general elections. It also justified the employment and compensation given to families of victims of the Nigeria Immigration Service employment tragedies. Spokesman for PDP Campaign Council, Femi Fani Kayode, insisted that it was not true that the party or the federal government has set aside 9 billion naira to sponsor ethnic militias. He claimed that it was the APC that has consistently supported and sponsored Boko Haram in substance and in their utterances over the last few years. Fani Kayode also maintained that the gesture of President Jonathan to the family of the victims of the immigration recruitment stampede was a noble gesture, contrary to APC's position. In the meantime, the All Progressives Congress has accused Jigawa State Governor Sule Lamido of spearheading a campaign of calumny against its presidential candidate, Muhammadu Buhari. It claims that the governor is collaborating with President Goodluck Jonathan and Vice President Namadi Sambo to present Buhari as a figurehead who will be at the mercy of his running mate if he wins the March 28 election. This, according to the spokesman for APC campaign organization, Garba Shehu, is to give the people of the North Nigeria the impression that the Southwest region would be the ones running the government. He made this claim at a news conference in Abuja.
That Lamido should go on the network radio, and all stations, government radio stations controlled by them, have been asked to link up to the network and to broadcast Sule Lamido's interview. Now, Lamido is supposed to tell the northern people that it will be unfair to have General Muhammadu Buhari as president. It will be unfair to the north, because what it will mean is that the southwest will indirectly be getting another term of office after President Obasanjo's 8 years, and that northerners will be asked not to be deceived into voting for APC. In any case, other members of the PDP, including associates of Sule Lamido, know better, and they can tell of the kind of style in terms of leadership that General Muhammadu Buhari harbors. But of the millions of US dollars that Mr. Jonathan is said to be sharing to traditional and religious leaders in the Southwest, how much of that money did Mr. Sule Lamido collect on behalf of northern rulers and religious leaders? And lastly then, can we ask Mr. Sule Lamido, what is his response to the pejorative references that Mrs. Patient Jonathan has been making against the Northerners?
ex-governor of Ekiti State, Kayode Fayemi, says the All Progressives Congress has strong evidence against President Goodluck Jonathan on his alleged plot to foist an interim government on Nigeria. He said the allegation made by the national leader of APC, Bola Tinubu, that his life is being threatened confirmed the desperation of the PDP-led federal government and Jonathan. Fayemi, who was speaking in Aramoko, Ekiti on Saturday during the 40-day fidal for the late Yejelola Akingbolu and Raliat Akingbolu, also lambasted Governor Ayodele Fayose for allegedly lying in state the APC presidential candidate Muhammadu Buhari over his health status. The ex-governor said Jonathan could not deny that he invited Tinubu to be part of the planned interim government, saying the APC leader made the allegation in good faith and not to discredit the president or heat up the polity. Fayemi assured that Buhari will keep to his promise not to dig into the financial corruption perpetrated in the past under Jonathan, if that is what members of the ruling party are afraid of. Fayemi declared that the government of Jonathan will be held responsible if anything bad happened to Tinubu. Former Aviation Minister Femi Fani-Kayode has slammed the All Progressives Congress for running newspaper advertorials with what he described as renounced and outdated views about President Goodluck Jonathan. Fani-Kayode, who is now spokesman for the People's Democratic Party's presidential campaign, described the action as a measure of desperation on the part of the opposition party. He said in a statement issued in Abuja that he was surprised that the APC has resorted to buying full-page adverts of outdated quotes about President Goodluck Jonathan from old essays he wrote while he was in their ranks. The PDP campaign spokesman said he renounced those views about President Jonathan long ago and had since returned to the ruling party. He, however, reminded APC that one of its chieftains, Nasir El-Rufai, had once described General Buhari as outdated and unelectable, and that its national leader, Bola Tinubu, also once said Buhari was obsessed with power, wicked, sadistic, and unreliable. Fani-Kayode noted that in spite of the advertorials, he would continue to focus attention on APC and its leaders. Now, Nyako's suit. A former governor of Adamawa State, Murtala Nyako, has asked the presiding judge of the Bauchi Division of the Federal High Court, Justice M.G. Umar, to return his suit challenging his removal from office in July 2014 to the Yola Division. So what the judge already reversed in this suit can be delivered. Justice Bisikilu Aliyu, who presided over the case in the Yola Division of the court, had on February 2, 2015, concluded hearing in the suit and adjourned for judgment before Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, Justice Ibrahim Auta, transferred the case to Bauchi. Justice Auta had withdrawn the suit from Justice Aliyu on the account of a pending petition before the date already fixed for the judgment on February 12th. Justice Auta had transferred the case to Bauchi after 3 weeks of withdrawing the suit from Justice Aliyu. Iyaku, through his counsel, Mr. Olukola Ogungbege, had queried the basis of the withdrawal of the suit and its subsequent transfer to Bauchi. In his letter dated March 12, 2014, Ogungbege informed Justice Umar that his court lacked jurisdiction to entertain the suit. The lawyer therefore urged the judge not to hear the case, but to order it to be transferred back to Yola. Iyaku's fresh letter came ahead of March 17, 2015, the date which the matter has been scheduled to come up before Justice Umar. Staying with judicial matters, a federal high court in Abuja has ordered the extradition of Abdul Adewale Kekerekun to the United Kingdom, where he is wanted for the murder-related offenses. Justice Ahmed Mohammed approved Kekerekun's extradition after his lawyer dropped their objection to the request brought by the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation in the face of compelling argument. Kekerekun is to be extradited back after 15 years from the date of the ruling. He is wanted by the UK government for the murder of one Marcus Hall, an 18-year-old who was beaten and stabbed to death 14 years ago outside a nightclub in Luton, United Kingdom. The rest of the culprits have been prosecuted and jailed in the UK, but Kekereekun has been on the run until his arrest in Nigeria for identity theft. Now, the Oyo State political violence family, Oyo political violence family members of the victims of the recent spate of political violence involving members of their Accord party in Oyo State have cried out for justice on those responsible for the death of their loved ones, as well as pleading for assistance to be able to move on with the after case. Omotayo Alo paid a visit to the home of 3 victims who lost their lives at a political gathering organized by Accord party in the state and brought back this report.
The gnashing of teeth and lamentation continue for family members of victims of the recent political violence that rocked the Odinjo area in Ibadan. This unemployed mother of 2, Mofuliatu Mutiu, says the news of her husband's sudden death has been a major source of heartache, stating that his personality as an easygoing citizen is undeserving of the fate that recently befell him. A visit to late Lateef Akinyemi's home presented further proof of the pain that persists among family members of the victims. For the mother, 1 out of 4 wives, and the daughter of the 3 children the 30-year-old deceased left behind, government should intervene in their case and render the necessary assistance they can to the family.
Nobody that is going to take care of the children, except the government should just help me and take care of these children.
She should send me to school.
Okay. What can you say about your daddy as a young man?
I can't send.
Okay. So you want those that you want the government to send you to school?
Yes.
Mother of late 18-year-old Sharafa Adedeji Basira Adedeji said the last she saw of her son on the Sunday morning was when he left home for church, only to receive the news of his death a few hours later. She stated that life has been unbearable for her after the loss of her last son, who was the only companion she had with her. With deeming hope of what the future might bring to them after their loss, these relatives of victims of the political violence have charged the government to provide adequate security for residents, while also advising politicians to exercise civility and discourage all forms of thuggery to prevent future occurrence. Omotayo Alo, CoreTV News, Ibadan.
You're still watching CoreTV News at 4. We'll go for a quick break. The news returns shortly. Stay with us.
From time immemorial, women have birthed life, shaped character, and by extension, influenced the society. Moremi of Ife, Emoten of Benin, Queen Aminat of Zaria, all women of influence and power.
Whether it's before election, after election.
How ironical. Women being so powerful, yet have few grounds in decision making.
They see you as a wife, and I see you as a wife to a man.
We are talking women in politics.
A woman will be bold enough to stand up and say, I want to become president of Nigeria.
Only on CoreTV News.
Welcome back. You can reach us on our various social media platforms. Facebook, facebook.com/CoreTV News. Our Twitter handle at CoreTV News NG. Our Facebook channel is youtube.com/CoreTV. Leave a space, then news. A federal high court in Lagos has declared as unlawful the restriction of citizens' movement during the monthly Lagos Environmental Sanitation Exercise. Justice Mohammed Idris, in a judgment delivered on Monday, 16th of March 2015, held that such restrictions of movement in the name of sanitation amounts to a violation of the citizens' right to personal liberty and freedom of movement protected by Section 35 and 41 of the Constitution. He therefore voided the power of the Lagos State government and its agents to arrest any citizen found moving between 7 a.m. and 10 a.m. on the last Saturday of every month when the environmental sanitation exercise is observed. The chairman of Barkin Ladi local government area of Plateau State has called on the federal government to come to the aid of his area to salvage it from the invading insurgents that are escaping the fire of the Nigerian military in the northeastern part of the country. Emmanuel Loman, who is also the vice chairman and president of Algon, says the same treatment and military attention being given to security crisis in Borno, Adamawa and Yobe should be given to Barkin Ladi.
We've discovered that the insurgents have penetrated Barkin Ladi local government. With the drastic effort that the government is trying to dislodge them from Borno, Yobe and Adamawa State, a lot of them have run to Barkin Ladi local government. So this call for an emergency. The federal government need to put Barkin Ladi on alert, need to come in with security agency to go right into Barkin Ladi town and the environment to search for these insurgents.
The LG boss added that if urgent steps are not taken to nip the activities of the Plateau insurgents in the bud, they could grow strong someday and overrun the special task force helping to maintain law and order.
If urgent actions are not being taken, believe me, it's going to be another disgrace to the entire country, as it is the case in Maiduguri and other places. We've tried our best as a government in the local government, but it's beyond the local government itself. The state has also tried by putting in all the machineries in place to ensure that peace reign in the local government. But we have some elements in the local government that are bent, that are conniving with insurgents to ensure that they create havoc to the citizens.
With the recent concerted efforts to eradicate polio virus in Nigeria, the Rotary International Organization has been on the mission of eradicating since 1985 as a short total elimination of the virus in less than 2 years if the tempo for the prevention is sustained. At a training held in Ibadan for leaders of different clubs, the governor, Rotary International District 9125, Tolulope Mogbeyi, said the key to living a good life in a guaranteed safe environment is when individuals make up their minds to be a gift to the world. Mata Allah has more in this report.
With the latest positive update on the imminent possibility of recording a zero case of polio in Nigeria, given by the Vice Chairman, Rotary International Polio Plus Committee, Kazim Mustafa, who also added that the effort of the current federal administration is of great benefit to the record of such success.
Throughout 2014, we had only 6 cases. We have never been that close. That means we are really very close to the finish line. We only need to maintain the zero status in 2015 up to July, and then if we're able to do that, we have succeeded in interrupting the transmission of white polio virus.
This member of the non-government organization, who's worked assiduously in the struggle against polio, says a major setback to the progress of the cause is illiteracy and misinformation on the part of the people.
There are places where, because of illiteracy and ignorance, people have spread undue propaganda that when you allow your children to take the polio vaccine, it makes them impotent. A lot of things go with it.
Speaking on the importance of humanitarian and community service, the governor of the Rotary International District 9215, Tolu Omogbayi, stated that Nigeria's problems can be solved if Nigerians express the willingness to be of help to one another.
You may say you've only had one meal today. There are people who have not even had a meal maybe in 2 days, you know. So no matter the condition you find yourself, you see that you are even better than somebody out there, and you are willing to give out of the little you have, you know, to help somebody else. That is all.
For Labour Party governorship candidate in Ilorin and the incoming district governor of the organization, Michael Omotosho says the moment politicians saw leadership as an opportunity of selfless service to people who have entrusted their lives in them by voting them in, the better future for the country.
We're not doing campaigns, we're not doing rallies, we're going to the people, we're going into communities, we're going into rural areas. We're finding out what is it that they truly need in those communities. That way we don't take what they do not need to them. I tell people, why can't we as a body in Kwara State let everybody see what is coming in from government, let everybody see what the internally generated revenue is every month, and then let everybody see where we're spending this money into. Then everybody is accountable, we know. And then you can truthfully demand for what you think you should be yours.
The gathering also witnessed lectures and becoming influential ambassadors of the organization, with the ripple effect of grooming the future generation. Omotayo Alo, CoreTV News, Ibadan.
Traders at the popular Mile 12 market in Lagos have called on government to put in prevention measures that will guide against another fire incident in the market. The traders made the call during the visit of Benga Ashafa, the senator representing Lagos East in the Senate, to be part of the market affected by the recent fire incident. Abiola Luwale has more on the story as presented from our studios. The visit of Benga Ashafa was meant to commiserate with victims of the recent fire incident at the popular Mile 12 market. 3 lives and goods worth millions of naira were lost during the incident. The market leaders narrate their ordeal after the inferno. They commended the prompt response of the Lagos State Emergency Service during the unfortunate incident.
So, since that Friday, we have been in very painful mood. And that is why we are calling upon the government to come to our rescue, to assist our members. Because as you can see this line, all this line, they are all shops. Everything got burnt. Some did not pick up a pin from their shop. And this is the problem we have been encountering. But unfortunately, these so-called PDP people they came here yesterday to politicize what happened here.
For his part, Benga Ashafa and the State Commissioner for Special Duties, Wale Ahmed, promised government's support. They have cautioned the traders against politicizing the incident.
If anybody is coming here to come and politicize anything, they are too late. Immediately it happened. We were here. When the smoke was still on. When the fire was raging, we were here. APC fought the fire together with our firefighters.
This is the government that has always been responsible and responsive wherever anything happens. Yes. Were this not election period, you know that we would have been here as we are here today. So this is not a charade.
The Mile 12 market has the largest concentration of foodstuff sellers in Lagos State, and the fire incident is the latest in the spate of fire outbreaks at markets across the state. And moving on straight to news outside Nigeria, Pope Francis has condemned 2 suicide attacks on churches in Pakistan and accused the world of seeking to hide the persecution of Christians. The spiritual leader of Roman Catholics worldwide described the terrorist attacks against 2 Christian churches in Lahore as painful after his weekly Angelus prayer in Rome. 14 people were killed and more than 70 injured when 2 Taliban suicide bombers attacked the churches in the city of Lahore on Sunday. While praying, he also added that the persecution against Christians that the world seeks to hide comes to an end and that there is peace. Pope Francis has regularly condemned violence against Christians in Iraq and Syria and other regions, often at the hands of Islamic militants. And that's our package for 4. Do join us at the top of the hour for more stories. I'm Emmanuel Ezekiel, and thanks for watching.